So, what if the laziest way to make $100 a day was also the smartest? We're not talking about some sketchy get rich quick scheme here, but a genuinely efficient one person business model. And in this breakdown, we're going to dig into what the source material claims that model looks like.
Kind of goes against everything we're taught, right? But this quote from Bill Gates, of all people, really sets the stage for what we're talking about today. The goal isn't to avoid work, not at all. It's about finding the absolute straightest line from A to B. It's about being effective, not just busy. And the source we're looking at today argues this so-called lazy approach is actually a huge untapped advantage.
You know, it's funny. This bias we have against taking the easy way actually has a name. It's called effort moralization. It's this deep-seated belief that the grind itself, the struggle, is what makes you a good person. But let's be real. The world doesn't pay you for trying hard. It pays you for getting results. So the real question is, how can you work smarter, not just harder, to get those results?
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with this myth of hard work. Then we'll create a laziness litmus test to have a clear framework. We'll run 4 super popular online businesses through that test, see why they might not be the best fit, and then we'll reveal the source's #1 pick. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with a final scorecard. So how do we actually find the most efficient business model out there? We can't just guess, right? The source material for this explainer lays out a super clear 5-point framework to cut through all the hype and objectively measure what lazy and efficient really mean here.
And these are the 5 things that the source says really matter. First up, capital investment. How much money do you have to sink into this thing just to get it started? Second, complexity. Is the learning curve a vertical cliff? Third, time to profit. How long until you actually see some cash coming in? Fourth is ongoing management. Is this going to be a 24/7 job just to keep the lights on? And finally, income consistency. Can you actually count on the money coming in each month?
And that first point, capital investment, man, that is a big one. According to a Forbes study the source points to, 38% of startups fail for one simple reason. They run out of money. It's that simple. So a truly lazy, efficient model can't be one that makes you drain your bank account just to get off the ground.
All right, we've got our 5-point test ready to go. So now let's take 4 of the most popular online business models you always hear about and see how they stack up. And, well, this table pretty much says it all. Let's just run through this real quick. Forex trading, you need a lot of capital. It's super complex, and the income is all over the place. That's a recipe for stress, not efficiency. Dropshipping, people think it's easy, but you're constantly burning money on ads and dealing with shipping nightmares. And then you have things like real estate and YouTube automation. Sure, the income can be stable, eventually, but real estate, that takes a ton of cash, and it's a super long game. And YouTube automation sounds passive, but it can take a huge upfront investment and more than a year to actually turn a profit. So yeah, based on this framework, none of these really pass the laziness test.
So if those common side hustles are just too much work and too much money, what's the alternative? This is where it gets really interesting. The source says there's one model that actually nails it, especially when we're looking ahead a couple of years.
And that model is called AI shadow operating.
And the idea behind it is actually pretty brilliant in how simple it is. You find a micro creator, someone with a small but super loyal audience who doesn't have a product to sell. You then partner up with them. They just keep doing what they're great at, creating content. Meanwhile, you become their shadow operator, using AI tools to do all the business stuff, like building and launching a digital product just for their audience.
The process itself is broken down into 4 really clear steps. First, you find that creator. Second, you pitch them a true partnership. You're not selling them a service, you're becoming a partner. Third, and this is the magic part, you use specialized AI to do the heavy lifting, writing the sales pages, outlining the product, creating the launch plan, and finally, you launch it together and you split the profits.
And the money side of things is designed to be a total win-win. Typically, the creator gets the lion's share, say 70%, without having to risk a single dollar upfront. As the shadow operator, you get a really nice piece of the pie, often around 30%, from every single sale, supposedly for the life of that product.
Okay, so let's get to the final scorecard and see how this AI shadow operating model really stacks up against the others when we use our 5-point litmus test. And here we go, the final comparison. I mean, the difference is pretty stark, right? Capital investment is low because the creator already did the hard work of building an audience. No ad spend for you. Complexity is low because the AI tools are supposed to do like 90% of the work.
Time to profit is moderate. It's not instant, but we're talking maybe 45 to 60 days. Ongoing management is minimal once you're up and running. And the income is stable because you're selling to an existing loyal fan base.
Now, to give this some real-world flavor, the source includes a quote from a guy they call Ted, an AI shadow operator. He says, "Getting partnerships is easier than landing traditional clients. This allows me to make more money while working less." And then he finishes with this, "I cannot find a downside in this model." That's a pretty powerful statement.
So all of this really leaves us with one big question to chew on. In this new world where attention and audience are the real currency, is the smartest play no longer about building your own audience from scratch? Is it about partnering with people who've already done it? According to this analysis, that just might be the blueprint for the future of smart, efficient, one-person businesses.